Yeah, okay. Let me share my screen. Okay, let me share my screen. Are you able to see my screen, right? Okay, fine. Fine. So in our previous session, yesterday, we have learned about this, all the different types of event handlers. Also, these all the things we have learned it. Now, today, so we have learned the event handlers. Today, we will learn about this Ajax request. So what is then Ajax request? Okay. What is an Ajax request? So what is this one? Let's try to learn it. Now, up to now, what are the things that you have learned in your JavaScript? So these are all on the coding side only. Coding side means nothing but the programming side. You have learned about the browser APIs. So these all things, timeout, these all the things we have learned it. Now, the things what you will be doing is mostly in the JavaScript. As this one is then client side. Normally, if you try to see, we have some decent place like this. You will be able to have, yeah. So we will be having all the times. Typically, you will be working on the APIs only. So normally, what we will try to do is when we are trying to design a web application or microservice or anything. So web application, when we are trying to do it, so we get the data from the server. So we'll be having a database and all those things. So we normally in our things, client server architecture, we'll be having the data. It will be stored in the database. For example, let's try to say why we use this APIs. I will try to explain you briefly. Normally, a web page will be there here, okay, and in this browser, it understands only, we know that HTML, CSS, and also the JavaScript. So these are the three things only what the browser can understand. Now, whenever we are trying to open a web page, so whenever we try to open a web page, so we will be showing some set of data. So something like here, the list of posts, okay, the list of articles, and here we can show that recent articles, so recently posted articles. Like this, we will be trying to show it. So recently posted articles means nothing but the articles which were posted recently. So these articles will be dynamic. Okay, so in the web 2.0, these all the things are dynamic. Dynamic means nothing but, so daily if you try to refresh this page, so now if you are able to see article 1 and article 2, so the next minute it will not be the article 1 and article 2. It may be the different thing. So why? Because new article may be posted. So that means these articles are not static. These articles are dynamic. So dynamic means, so these are coming from somewhere. So this coming from somewhere means, so this will be actually coming from the server. So now the HTML, this web page, what it needs to do is, it needs to request for a data that I want most recent articles. I want to get the most recent articles. So when it requests for a data, it will send a response to this one, to the web page. Okay. It will send a response to this one. So in this response, you will be having the JSON response, whatever the response. So text response, you will be having the list of response. It will be sending to the type of response that you have required. So requested. So you will ask that one. It should be something like application/JSON, the request type. So like this, you will be asking. So in that manner only, it will try to send you the response. So it will send you the response, and using that response, you will try to bind these all articles. Okay, recently articles. Now the data where it will try to get is, so this is a different thing. So you will be having a database. So you will be having a database, the way of storing the data. Okay. So previously we used to have something like, if you try to see, so previously in the olden days, what we'll try to do, so for example, if you want to get the data, for example, let's say that we are in a college, let's say that it is a university. So we are in a university, and it has to maintain all the list of all the employees in the university. In the olden days, what they will try to do is, they will try to maintain a book, something like 2021. So these so 2021, they will try to maintain a book. Inside this book, whatever the students belonging to this 2021 academic year, they will try to maintain in their book. So still they want to filter means they will try to maintain something like in our diary we'll be able to see. So students starting with the A, students starting name starting with B, C, like this they will try to maintain the index so that we can able to refer it very easily. So like this, olden days we used to do it. So when our internet and all those things came in the 1980s, something like not 1980s, 2000s, 1990s, in the late 1990s, we got these all internet and all those things. Now HTML was introduced at that time. Okay, so HTML when it was introduced, so this was only for the designing thing only. Designing thing means like nothing but showing the web page to the user. Showing a web page means nothing but showing an page. So showing an article or a set of articles or something like that. We have already seen our HTML thing. So like this. Now we don't have this type of data storing. So we are using this type of books and all those things only for the data storage. At the time, a new one was invented, that is nothing but the XML. So XML is used for storing of the data. So this is also, XML is also one type of storing of the data, like the database only. But it is a trivial, so primitive one. Okay, so this is the one. So then afterwards we are able to see we have got this Excel thing. These all the things are also came. So these are primarily used for this. What I can say is for storing of the data only. So storing of the data in a specific manner. So if you try to see, for example, let's say that if you go to the notepad, let's say that for example we have an employee. Okay, so normally we have an employee details. We need to maintain employee details. Now you will be having an ID of one, name of Leela. Okay, so he belongs to the category of IT, let's say. So these are the details I am having. So these are the employee details. Sorry, employee details or whatever thing. So we have another set, something like ID of 2 and the name of some other guy. Okay, some other guy, and we'll be having like this category belongs to mechanical or something like this. So we used to have like this data. Now, so previous olden days we used to maintain in a ledger account, but when it comes to the XML, so we will be having an employee. Okay, so employee tag, and in this employee tag we will be having this, or otherwise some people will try to do employees, and he will try to keep employee, single employee details. So he will try to do single employee. Inside this one he will try to keep ID of 1, ID of 1, sorry, so whatever the name you want. So here we can use something like name, and we can use this name, and another one is something like category. Okay, so like this we used to maintain it like this. So it looks something like similar to the HTML only, but we are having our own custom elements. Okay, custom tags. So we are having our custom tags. Now this is one record of an employee. So another record, if you want to maintain, means you will create another employee like this. So another record means you will try to maintain like this. So now this one is some way of organized way of storing a data. Okay, so this is also one way of, so in the olden days we used to do this XML data of representation. Okay, so we used to have something like WSDL format. These all the things will be there, so which are very old things. So now we got the REST API. In olden days we have the SOAP APIs. These like this we'll be having. So these are all things, different thing. I don't want to go deeper into that one. So now this is the way of one type of storing the data. Now we can able to easily identify that. So this is one employee record, this is one employee record, and this is one employee record. So like this it will go on going on the record. So you will try to store it in some place, something like employees.xml. Now all the programming languages right now, all the 100% of the programming languages as the libraries to parse this XML data and to extract the data from this one. Okay, so now this is our older way. So this has some limitations. Something like what I can say is, for example, I want to get the names of a particular person whose name starts with something like Leela. I want to get only those records. So getting those records from these type of things is little bit of performance issue will be there. So because of this reason, we have another type of databases came. So those names are called as an RDBMS, these all things. Okay, so relational database. So we will be having an RDBMS, these all things. So now we are having something like NoSQL database. These all the things is there. So I will not go to the deep into this one. So now these are the ways of storing a data. So try going on when time is going on. So So we are able to, we are what I can say is we are progressively enhancing we are enhancing the way of storing of the data. Now let's say that when we come to this one, okay, so now this HTML, so this HTML is there, right? Yeah. So now we have an HTML page, and now I want to ask this data. So I want to show the recent articles or whatever the list of articles I want to have. So now it needs to go to the XML. Okay, it needs to go to the XML or any other database, whatever it may be, Excel or anything, MySQL or anything. So it may be any database. So these all are means of storing a data. So how the data will be storing. So it needs to ask through the XML things. So these things. Now these JavaScript and HTML things cannot parse these all the type of data. So it cannot understand these things. So it can understand only the object notation only. So object notation only. So we used to say something like, we used to call it as JSON object. So JSON object means JavaScript object notation. So we have learned about this object thing. So that is nothing but JavaScript object notation. So this is the universal approved one. So now this object notation only the JavaScript will understand. Now what we will try to do is, in order to get this data, so the JavaScript cannot directly access this database thing. Now we need to rely on other programming language, okay, server-side programming language, where this server-side programming language, what it will try to do is, it will try to get the data from the database, and this database has a communication, something like SQL language. So SQL language or anything, so SQL, Excel or anything. So they have their own thing. So they will be having their one. So now this backend server will communicate through the SQL language, and it will get the list of all the records, and it will connect to the JSON, and it will send it to the JavaScript. Okay. So this is a simple request and a response. Now when we got all the data, we will try to, so we got an object, JavaScript object. We know how to loop over this object and how to make use of this object, and we'll try to show the data like this. So this is just overview of this one. So I will not go deep into this one backend thing and all those things. So this is just overview. So how this backend thing and SQL things and all these things, I will not go deep into this one. So this is the thing how it will be happening. Now, so what we need to do here, so we have a JavaScript program. Okay, we have a JavaScript program, and I want to get the list of articles from the database. So wherever the database we are having, so whatever may be the database. So I want to have this, I want to get this data. So JavaScript cannot access through this one. Why? Because so we don't know the SQL language. Database understands only the SQL language. Let's say MySQL or anything. So whatever thing it is having, so it understands only the SQL query language only. So it doesn't understand the Java language, anything. So nothing, no language doesn't understands this one. So it understands only the SQL language. So JavaScript, through JavaScript, so through the client side JavaScript, we cannot communicate it. Now what it will try to do is, so it will ask through the intermediate programming language. Okay, so this is nothing but server side programming language. It may be anything. So it may be a Java, .NET, PHP, Ruby, anything, Node or anything. So it will be asking the server side programming language, and the server side will make an establish with the database connection, and it will get the data. Okay, so it opens the connection, it gets the data. These all things it will try to do it, and it will try to send the response to this one. Okay, so one request and one response. So then this one will be cut. Now, so we understood this one. So we got the data. Now how the server side programming language will try to get send this data is through the APIs. Okay, through the REST APIs. So we call it as a REST APIs. In the olden days, we don't have this REST APIs. We used to have the SOAP APIs and all those things. So leave it. So now right now this is the trending. So we are using these REST APIs. Right now we also have the Graph APIs and all those things also has been came. So we'll talk about this REST APIs only. So now, so through the REST APIs we used to call the data. Now we will, through the REST APIs means, for example, let's say that it will be having a nothing but through the HTTP URLs only. We will try to call the URL, and we will be getting the response. Let's say that, so right now we don't have any backend or anything. So I am trying to use this fake thing. So free fake API for testing and prototyping. Now let's say that here we are having a set of URLs. So that is nothing but /posts. So when you want the list of all the posts, articles or something like that from the server means, so you need to call this URL. So JSON placeholder.type /post. Now it will send you the object notation. See, here you will be able to have array of objects. So you need to understand this is an array, Inside this array you are having an object. So array of objects, we used to call it as array of objects. Okay. So now we are having all the list of data as an object notation. So now we need to make use of this URL, and we need to call through the JavaScript, and we need to get this data, and we need to show it in the what I can say, in our client side, in our HTML website. So let's see how we can do this one. So now there are different ways in JavaScript for calling these all Ajax calls and all those things. So previously we used to have these all Silverlight and all those things we used to have olden days. So now Ajax means asynchronous JavaScript call actually. Okay, asynchronous JavaScript XMLHttpRequest, this one. So this was actually first it was implemented by the Microsoft. Why? Because at the olden times there will be only one browser, that is nothing but the IE Explorer. So they have implemented this Ajax request. What is the thing right now? What I will be trying to implement is supported by all the browsers. Okay, so this is oldest form of implementation of this one. So supported by all the browsers. Up to now the browsers will be supported. So this is the universal thing. So all the people, all the libraries, if you are trying to use it, they will try to use this type of scenario only. So now if you want to call this all third-party API, something like this, what I can say is not third-party API, outside API. So this is called as an API URL. Now if you want to call this URL, and if you want to get this, access this data, so what you will try to do is, so first you need to create a XML HTTP request. So where HTTP is equal to, so I am trying to call this one, right, new XML HTTP request. Okay, so don't confuse with this XML, as I already told you, right? So this URL is meant for getting the data from the source file, from the database or something like that, whatever may be the database. So at that time when this XML HTTP request, these all things implemented, the way of storing the data is the only XML. So for historic reasons they kept it like that only. So right now the new implementations has been implemented, so they left this library like that only. So because of that reason, so XML HTTP request like this, it was there. So don't think these XML and all those things are different. So that is the reason I have told you the XML, why we will be using the XML and HTML, why those both are different. Now this is the XML HTTP request. Now I am creating an object. So this one will try to make a request. So the URL what I want to do is, so this is the URL I want to call. So here I will be having a URL. Okay, so this is the URL I am trying to paste it. So this is the URL I want to try to use it, and we need to have the method. Okay, so method. So this is the method I want to get the data. So I am trying to get the data, not posting. I am not posting that. If you try to see here you will be able to see what is the type of request you want to make it. So here you will be able to see this is a get request, this is a get request. So this is a post, this is a put, this is a patch, delete. So we'll be having this type of methods we will be having. So now we are trying to do the get request. Because of that reason I have kept this get request. Now what I need to do is, first I need to open the connection. So I need to open the connection. First one is opening the connection. So that is nothing but method comma URL. Okay, so this is the open the connection. Now after opening this one, so I need to send the request. Okay, I need to send the request. That's it. So we have opened the connection. So I have this URL, HTTP URL, and the methods. I have opened the connection with the method give, with method get, and also this URL I have used it. And now I am sending the data. I am sending the request, so that I need to wait for the response. Now you have sent the request to this one. So we need to get this response. So that means it will take some time. So maybe it may, depending on the server busy and all those things, it may take some time. So what you can do here, so you need to wait. So when I need to wait, so you will be having a method event that is nothing but on ready state change. On ready state change. Okay, so this is, so whenever we got a response from this one, okay, so this method will be this method will be invoked. So now when we open the connection, so we will be having actually four stages will be there. So ready state change we are able to see, right? 4 stages will be there. So if I try to show it, I don't know whether we can find it or not. XML HTTP, yeah, here I am able to see XML ready state. Yeah, we will try to see this, right? Yeah, here we are able to see, right? These are the 4 1 2 3 4 5 are there. So first one is we have created open not called yet, so that means not sent, so we haven't called the send. So now here we have opened means send has been called and the headers and status are available, headers received it seems. So now loading, so downloading the content, so we have made the request and we are downloading the response from the server, and the done means the operation is completed. So we are having the 5 stages, ready states, 5 stages are there. So now whenever the state is changing from 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, every time when the state is changing, so this method will be invoked. Okay, this method will be invoked. Now I want to check that in such a way that if http.readyState, so I don't want all these states. So now here we have seen it, right? So now I don't want these all the states. I want to know when this done has happened. So when this done is state as we have reached only, then only we can know that we got the response. So now I want to check that done thing. So it will be present in this ready state. So I can check that when this ready state is equal to, so you can check it with the 4 here. So when this one is 4, so we know that value is 4, so we can check it with the 4. Okay, when this one is 4, I can use something like console.log http.response text. So you will be having all the data inside this response text. Now let's try to see the output. So if I try to click on run, so now we are able to see the data. So now right now we are accessing this one through the text thing. So we are getting entire data with the text only. So we are getting the entire data with the text. So this is the user ID one. As this one is entire is a string, so we are having the backslash escaping characters. We are having like this. Now we got the data. Now what we need to do here? So we need to make use of this one. So now if you want to convert it into JSON object means a JavaScript object means, let's take it as where or otherwise I can do something like console.log json.parse. So we will be having a method json.parse. So this is the json.parse. It will convert the JavaScript object to the original object. Actually this entire is an object, but it is in the string notation. Entire thing is in the string notation. So now I want to convert it into object. I can use this one, something like http.response text. That's it. So now if you try to see, this entire thing will be converted into an object. So see, now this one is an object. Everything is an object. Now here also you can check this all the things. For example, let's say that when you are trying to access this what I can say, this post thing, if we are able to get it right, let's see in the inspect element and in the network. So here if you try to see the all, so we are able to get a status of 200. So we will be having these all the status text we will be having, HTTP status text. So 400 is a bad request, 200 is an output, 201 is a resource created. So like this 500 is an means internal server error, 301 means permanent redirect, 302 means temporary redirect. These all things, so many things we'll be having. So so right now, so 200 is a status. So when we get the 200 only, then we will get this. We can assume that we have got the response thing. So now we can also check, if you want, you can also check what I can say. Where is the JS bin? Yeah, we can also check the condition in such a way that ampersand http.status. So if you want to know these all the methods and all those things, you can console this http and you can check these all the object, what are the available, what are the key properties available. So here you can check this 200. So when it is 200 only, then only we are trying to print the data. So like this is the how we will be calling this HTTP URL in this XMLHttpRequest. So right now we are able to get the data like this. And now when we want to post the data, so this is simplest writing of this one. So here response text, response type, so response URL. So these are all the things you'll be able to see. Status text. These are all the things you are having. So just I'm explaining you the basic things, so how we can call this one. So what we have did here, so we have created a new object XMLHttpRequest, and we got the HTTP thing. We know the URL and we know the method, how we need to call it. So these are all the things will be provided, URL and the method by the API thing. And we are opening a connection with the method and the URL, and we are sending the connection to the network. And now we are waiting for the ready state change. So whenever a ready state change is changing, this function will be invoked. and we don't want all the ready states, we want only the ready state is equal to 4. So when this 4, so here also we can use the constant something like XML HTTP request dot done. So we'll be having this one. So this is a constant. So if you want, you can use it that static word, or otherwise we can use this dot done also. Now we got this HTTP status 200. When these all the things is 4 and also 200, then only get the response data. So then only we know that we'll getting the response data, so we can use it. Or otherwise you can write else. You can write something like console.log. So error. So we can get the, we will show it as an error. Now let's try to make something and let's try to see it. So we got an error here. Why? Because this URL is not present. So whenever I am trying to access this URL, so it will get an 500 internal error or 404 error. Maybe most probably will be getting a 404 error only. Why? Because this URL does not exist. If you try to see here, okay, error name resolved. So here we try to see it. The request address and all those things. We are not able to find it. For example, let's say that, see, this domain is not there. So they are saying, let's say that we are having this one, and I will try to do like this. Now you got a 404 error. See, so this means this is nothing but page not found. So like this, we will be having a status codes. So this is all about this, how we will be calling this Ajax call in a plain JavaScript. Okay, so this is how we'll be doing. Now if you want to make a post request, okay, so we have did how to get the data. So how to get the data from the server, we have did it. Now how to send the data to the server. So how to send the data to the server means, so nothing but what we can say is here in our JSON placeholder. Yeah, so now in our JSON placeholder, if you try to see here, we are having a post request, that when we want to add a post, into the server, when we want to send the post into the server means we'll try to use this post request. Now here I can change it to post. Okay, now what I need to do is I need to prepare a data. So data means what is the data I want to prepare it. So I am preparing something like URL encoded form encoded format, ampersand body is equal to something like, I will try to use description or anything. I don't want to make it complicated. I will try to show you how we can do it. So we have did this one and we have did this one, and before sending this one we need to do the set the headers. So how we are trying to send the data, set request headers, we are trying to set the headers, content type, and I am telling that how I am trying to send the headers, content type. So this is nothing but application. So in the form, when we are trying to do this form, we are able to, we have seen this one, application www form hyphen URL encoded. So this is the thing. So we'll be having for form thing, we will be able to see it. For file also we have used another thing. So like this. So now let's try to use this set request set header. Now we are trying to send the data. That's it. So most probably this one only, and we need to send, yeah, here we need to send this data. So we need to send this post data, right? So like this. So now if I try to run it, okay, so now this time you will not get the 200, you will get the 201. Why? Because the resource has been created. Now if you try to see the output, still we are getting this one, JSON placeholder. Okay, I have used this wrong notation, right? Now if you try to run it, so now we are able to get something like a new one has been created with the title new and description. So new one has been created. So this is trying to tell it. Okay, so why we are getting this error, these two things is, so first state it will be something like 1, 2, 3, like this you will be getting, right? So because of this reason you are getting. So now you can use this like this, and now you will get a data. So now we have successfully sent the request to this one. ID 101 has been created. New resource, new one has been posted. So this is how we will be making this simple get request and post request in the JavaScript. So we are having easier ways also, but I am trying to explain you the actual implementation of this one. So now let's try to do it real time. Now what I want to do is, for example, let's say that this is our index.html. Okay. Right now we are having all the post data. So here we are having all the post data. Okay. So these are all the post data. I want to bind it to a table. I want to show these all the data in a tabular format. So how we can show it? Let's try to see. So here, let's go to the index.html, and I will try to do something like table. Okay. So t head, I will be using the t head, and I want to use tr. So I want to show the title, and I want to show the description. Let's say. So we don't have any data, so we need to get it from the server. So I kept it tbody like this. That's it. So this is our simple table, and we want to show this table whenever I get the data. So right now, if I try to see this output, open with live server, so I'm able to see it as a title and the description. So I'm not doing any design. So we are concerned about this getting the data. Now what I want to do here. So first I know that HTTP, so new XML HTTP request. I am creating a request. So we want to know the URL. So like this. So JSON placeholder. So now let's try to get this JSON placeholder. And if I try to use this one, and we need to get a method is equal to get. So these are the things we got it. So now what I want to do, so I need to open the request. So I will open http.open of method comma URL. So now I want to send it to the server. So I have sent it. Now I want to wait for the response. So http.onReady state change. Okay, we are able to get this one. So it is a function. It will invoke a function. Now if http.ready state is equal to XMLHttpRequest.done, and also http.status is equal to 200. It is 200. Then bind post to table. I am creating a table. Okay. So now here we got a response data. And what I want to do, so where response is equal to http.response text. So you'll get this response text. We know that this one will be in a text format. I want to convert to the JSON object. JSON object means nothing but JavaScript object. So now here I have converted. I will send this response to here. So let's try to create a function. Okay. So bind post to table of post data. So we got the post data here. So let's try to console the post data. Okay, I have consoled this post data. Let's try to see this output. Now if I try to see this output, let's open this one, and here in the inspect element, if you try to see it, console, in the console we are able to get the 100 post data. So we are able to get this all the 100 post data we are able to get in the console. Now if you try to see in the network call, let's try to see it. So we are able to make an XHR request. Okay, XMLH. This XHR means nothing but XML HTTP request. Okay, so now we have made an XHR request. This one. So this one we have made it, and we got the response here. Okay. So now let's try to see it. So we got the response. This one. Now we need to bind it to the HTML. Now how can I bind it? Let's say that where table data, I am taking a variable. So I am making it as empty. So let's try to frame the HTML. So let's try to frame the HTML. Now if I try to frame this HTML, let's try to loop over this one. Okay. So for where I is equal to, I will try to use the traditional way so that you will not get confused. I less than post data dot length, and I will be using I plus plus. I am looping over each post detail. So now what I want to do is, so here I will try to bind it table data plus is equal to, okay, I am using the shorthand notation for this one. So first we need to create a tr and we need to create a td. So I am trying to frame the HTML. So inside this one, first I need to bind the title post data of I dot title. So I want to get it, each one I am getting inside this one. So we will be having where this one gone console. Right. Oh, sorry. This one we are in the middle, right? Okay, I have removed the console. So let's try to do the console, that post data. Try to show you the response. Now if we try to see the response, so here I am looping over each one, 0, 1, 2, I am looping over, and inside this one I am trying to get this post data dot title and also body. Where is this body? Yeah, I am trying to get this body. Now if you try to see here, so I am binding inside this one, so another TD I am taking. So here inside this one, so I will doing the concatenation, and here what I will do, post data of I dot body. That's it. So we have framed this table data. Let's try to show you the console.log of table data. I will try to show you. So what is the data that has been framed it here? Okay. So now if you try to see the output, what has happened here? Table data plus is equal to table data. Let's try to refresh it again. Yeah. Now here we are able to see these all the console, right? TD has been created and TD has been created for this one. So like this you'll be able to see TD and TR again created. So like this we are able to see it, right? So now we have framed this one. Now where I need to bind it here? So we know the traversing of this one. So I need to take this one and I need to bind it. Okay, let's try to catch that one. Where tbody element equal to document dot. I'm not using any IDs or anything. So directly I'm trying to access from using this tag name tbody, and what I want to do, tbody element dot text content. So we know that to bind the text content table data, we'll try to do it. Now let's see what will happen. So now if you try to see the text content, see now when I am trying to use this text content, it is trying to print as it is as a text content trtd. I don't want like this implementation. I want this tr to be as an HTML element only, not to be as a text element. So for this one, so what we need to do is, instead of having this text content, so what we are doing, trying to do it here, if I try to do this inspect element, so in this tbody, instead of having this tr and all those things, everything is appended as a text thing. I don't want this one like this, so it should be appended as an elements only. So instead of using this text content, so we have the HTML. So this text content consists of the combination of HTML elements and also the data. So we need to use inner HTML here. Okay, so we have the data. So now any HTML tags or anything present inside this text content means it will be converted into the HTML elements. Now if you try to see the output, see, now we are able to show these all table format. So whatever the data we are having, so the entire data we are able to show it as an text in the table. So this is how we will be showing the data from the getting the data from the from the outside resource, outside server. So this is all about this, what I can say, XMLHttpRequest, making an Ajax call, so through the JavaScript basics. So this is these type of things will work in all the browsers. So this is the latest one, Fetch API. So this one works in only the modern browsers only. So this is the new implementation of this one. Try to W3 schools. Where is this W3 schools? I don't know whether this W3 schools is there or not. Browser APIs, these are all things we are having, third-party APIs. I didn't give anything, I don't know where we have found it. So here you'll be able to see this Ajax request, Ajax introduction. So Ajax is a because you can read data from the web servers, updated data. So here you'll be able to see it. So here he has created, okay, he has used the variable as XHTTP. So we have did the same thing, and we are having the same thing, how to create an XML HTTP object and how to do these all the things, okay, how to onload. So these are all the things here used. So these are so many things will be there. So just I want to tell you so how we can do it, that one. Okay, so this is all about the what I can say, XML HTTP request. So by this the basic JavaScript sessions and all those things are completed. So these are up to now what we have learned. These are all the things will be working in the browsers. Now let's try to see some of the concepts. I will try to explain you. So before closing of these JavaScript sessions, now let's try to see. We have learned about these all the things, right? Let's say that we want to string object thing. So for example, let's say that I will use the JS bin only. It will be. Let's say that we haven't covered the strings thing. So how the strings behave in the JavaScript. So let's say that we are having a hello world like this. If I try to do this console.log of a, okay. So this is the string text we are able to see it. Now this one is string is nothing but what I can say is the type of a. If you try to check this type of a, so you will be able to get it. It is a string. String is nothing but what I can say is it is an array of characters. For example, let's say that I want to access a of 1. So here you will be having a different thing. So a of 1. So now we know that this one is a string. So this will be accessed only by the array, right? So now you will get an output something like e 0 1. So that means string is nothing but in our JavaScript is an array of characters. Now if you want to get something like char at, you will be having a method caret of, you need to give the position. So now at one index, what is the element we are having? What is the character we are having? So fifth index 0 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, so sixth 0 1 2 3 4 5 6. W is there, right? So we'll get the output as what is that we are getting output? Caret of, caret is not defined. Okay, I need to use something like a dot. Okay, it is a string, right? So now if you try to see, we are able to get the W. Now if you want to get the length of the string means you can use like something like a dot length. Same erase how you will be trying to do, you can use this erase thing. Now if you want to concat, we already seen in the array methods concat thing. So I can use this concat and I can use something like Leela. Now you will be able to get an output something like hello world Leela. We will be able to concat the two arrays, right? So like in the same scenario, we can use this a dot concat. Same scenario, slice and splice also the same thing. So you will be in the splice, you will be giving the starting index and the number of characters you want to do it. So it will remove those characters. And slice also, it will try to do starting index and ending index. It will copy those things. Slice and splice is also the same thing only. But apart from the array methods, so what are the things you will be having is nothing but two uppercase. So these things you will be having in the, then you will remember it very easily. So these things you will be having, and you will have the split method also. So if you want to split it with a delimiter, so you can split it with a delimiter. So there you will be having a join method with a delimiter. So it will convert the array to a string. Here it will convert the string to an array using the split method. So like this. So difference will be there. So little bit difference will be there. Both the arrays and things will be same in the JavaScript. A.trim. So trim, what it will try to do is, for example, you are having a spaces here. Okay. So you are having a spaces like this. I want to trim the spaces at the starting of the string and the ending of the string means, then you can use this trim thing. So if you don't use the trim and if you want to do the console, so now the spaces are there. If you use the trim here, automatically the starting and ending white spaces will be removed. So this is the trim thing. So apart from this one, all the things are same, like arrays only it will be there, slice and splice, and these are all the things we have seen it, right? So there you will be having a join, and here you will be having a split thing. So those things only the main thing. So remaining all methods you can check it here in the strings thing. And apart from this JavaScript, so what we can do is, so we can you understood about the date thing also. So if you want the date thing means where date is equal to new date, I can you can use it. So now if I want to do this one, console.log of date, I don't know so whether date will come or not. I think it's an object. I think, yeah, it's an object. Date we have created with the new, right? It's an object. So let's try to use this do string. So then what will happen? It will try to give the date. So now it is June 14th, 10:18 AM. So we are able to see the output. Now this one is giving is today's date. So here is the today's date. So whenever you want to do it, so it is giving today's date. Now if you want to send a custom date, so for example, let's say that I want to pass 2020. Okay, 03 month is the 03, and I want to pass something like 26 date. So now let's try to see the output. What is the output here? So here it is telling April 26, 2020. So you can also pass the custom date, something like year, month, and date. Here one thing what you need to understand is the 03. So January, February, March. So third is the March, right? Here you are getting as April. As I already told that month starts from the 0. So that means 0 is January, February is 2, 1, March, and April is the 03. So it starts from the 0. And not only with the as a parameters, you can also pass it as a string also. So let's say that 2020/03/26. Now this time you know that this is an April, right? So now this time if you try to see the output, here it is March. So whereas if you consider it as a string thing, so 3 starts from the 0 only. There you are passing it as a parameters, and here you are passing it as a date string. So these are the small minute things you need to understand it. That's it. Most probably you'll be having these things only. So if you want to get the date means, so you can use this something like console.log today's date dot get date. So it will return you the date thing. So that means nothing but 26 is the date, right? So you'll be able to get 26. Get month, so you will be able to get month means I think hopefully 2 will come. Why? Because it will start from the 0. You will have the something like get full year. So like this you'll be having methods, so you can make use of those things. 2020, so get seconds, so you'll be having this get seconds. Okay, there is no seconds, right? So we haven't given the seconds. Get time, there will be no time, right? So here you are getting a Unix timestamp. These are the number of milliseconds in the Unix timestamp. That is means starting from the 1960. I don't remember the date. January 1st, 1960. I don't know. So what will be that one? Unix timestamp. So starting from the 1960, the number of milliseconds that has been passed. January 1st, 1970, midnight UTC GMT it seems. So starting from the January 1st, 1970 up to now, these many milliseconds has been passed it seems. So where is that one? Yeah, these many milliseconds has been passed. Here this one is a milliseconds. You can also check here somewhere. Yeah, Unix timestamp. So something around it will be something like 1655182260. So this is the thing you are having now here. So here it is updating. See, so the number of seconds it is going on since January 1st, 1970. So here also the same thing. Now if you try to run it, now it will become 1585. I don't know. So this is the number of milliseconds. So by 1000 we need to make it. That's it. So this is okay. We are on 2020, right? So if you try to take it as today's date, now it will be 1650. Yeah, see. So this is 1655 something like this, and here also 1655. 295 it is, 296 it is there, something like that only it will be here. Like so, you need to make it by 1000, then you will be able to do. That's all about this date things also, and also we have learned about this one. And we have the regular expression. So regular expressions also it will support. For example, let's say that the regular expressions we create it using, so regex is equal to new regular expression. Okay, we will be creating using like this new regular expression, and we need to pass the pattern. Now if you want to check it, so console.log regex dot execute of, so cutter it, yeah, so string we need to take it. So str, so I need to check it, right? This is Leela and hello world. Let's try to write it hello world so that it will match it. Okay, and I want to check this one, and I want to pass this str to this one. This is the regular expression, how we can check it. So regular expression, first I need to create a regular expression pattern, and then I need to apply it to that on the string, which string I want to apply it. So now I am applying this regular expression pattern to the string. Now where it has been found, let's try to see the output. Not this one or what? I don't know this one. How we will be creating. Let's try to do this one here. Then we'll get it. So new regex. Okay, regexp we need to use. So now regexp. Let's try to run it. Let's we get our output. Yeah, here we are able to get the output of world here, right? So this is how we will be able to get it. Now let's try to see. That's it. So if you try to see it, w world means, so now you will not get any match. Okay. Now if you want to get the match means, so you need to use the global. So you need to use the global flag here. Then only you will get what has happened here. So new regex of exec global match. Use it. Okay, so a little bit of things it is there. So but I want to explain you this like this, and not only with the regular expressions, And also we can use this one using what I can say, sorry, not global flag, I need to use the case instance. Now you will get the output, so W and also W. I don't want to go deeper into this regular expression thing. That's it. So now inside this one, what I can say, I have used this one, right? So let's try to make it this one, and I can use this regular expression in our string also. We have seen that one, str. Let's try to see. I will try to show it. I have used it, right? Str dot split off. So we can use the delimiter like this. Now I can use run means, so everything will be divided using the space thing. So each words will be converted into an array. Instead of using this delimiter, I can also use this regular expression. So I can use this regex also here. So now what will happen is, this is hello, or otherwise let's try to take this for the Leela. So now this is will become one array, and from dot onwards it will become another array. So excluding this Leela. Let's see the output. So here you will be able to see this is will become one array, and dot with this one excluding Leela, it will become another array. So like this you can also split it using the regular expression also. So like this, so many methods will be there. If you go on explaining those methods, so it will take so much of time. So we have the replace method also. So for example, so Leela, I want to replace something like Krishna. Okay, so I am searching with this regular expression Leela, and I want to replace it with Krishna. I think it will replace, I think. Yeah, here see. So Leela has been replaced with Krishna. Like this, we'll be having so many methods will be there. So you can search it like this. I think it will tell you the where at what index it has been found. I think these are the string methods actually. Yeah, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. At the 8th index it has been found. So like this it will try to do it. So these are all the JavaScript methods, string methods and regular expression methods, and also the date object methods we have seen it. And the most important thing today's we have covered is the HTTP changes. So we have binded to the table, XMLHttpRequest. These are all the things we have binded. So in the next session, what we'll try to learn is, so we'll try to learn the advanced JavaScript. So what are the things that has been come inside the new JavaScript? What are the features that has been added? Let's try to learn it.